Hello, we are Aslina Yo, Haz Malian, Dan Smith, Charlie Holland and me, Alan Turner, and I'm here to introduce our app, Tap That Map. Tap That Map is a multiplayer game based around Google Maps that we built because we wanted to build something fun that could also be somewhat educational, and our team wanted the challenge of building a real-time multiplayer game. As far as possible, we tried to build it so that it was simple to use, so that it could have a broad appeal. And to achieve this, we used daily stand-ups, test-driven development, and pairs programming for our work, starting by setting the MVP as the single-player version of the game. We managed to achieve this MVP in about 6 days, and from there, we really focused our effort on the multiplayer implementation. I'll now hand you over to Charlie for a demo.
Hi everyone, so let's play a round of Tap That Map. Upon logging in to Tap That Map, you'll see that you're asked to provide an email and password, either to log in if the email exists on our database, or to sign up if it doesn't. I've got a new email here, so I'm signing up and I'll be asked to enter a username and submit a custom marker if I don't like the duck we have. I've got a Northcoders logo here, so I think I'll use that today. And on pressing submit, I'll go to the front home page. Tap That Map can be played in single player or multiplayer, and multiplayer uses a game ID which you can use to join a lobby that's in progress. I'm setting one up here, so here's my game ID which I'll pass to my fellow teammates, and they'll come and join the game to show you that it can be played with multiple players. So we have Al here already, and Haz will be joining in just a second. Here we go, we have Dan here now, so as the host I have the option to start the game, which loads up our custom styled Google Maps API. Once everybody's pressed ready, I will have the option to start the game, again being the host, that will be my option, and we'll be able to play the game properly. Here we go. So question 1 is to find Gabon, which I'll admit I didn't know where it was. So I'll place my marker in the centre of Africa roughly, and then the program will tell me how far away I was from the centre. You'll see that other players, their scores are appearing on the right and their markers are appearing on the map, and they will drop in when they submit their scores. So if I submit my score first, I'll watch everybody drop in. If I submit my score at the end, I won't see anybody's markers until I've submitted, and then everybody's will appear on my map at once to obviously prevent them appearing and showing me where the answer is. So you'll see here with Haiti I got a little bit closer, and we see other people's markers dropping in, with Haz coming in at the end, they're nice and close as well. The rounds last for 60 seconds, but the timer will stop once everybody's confirmed their answer. And there are 10 rounds in total in the game. Once the question has been completed and your scores have been calculated, it'll ask you in the bottom if you're ready to move on to the next question. And again, when everyone has confirmed they're ready, the host will have the option to click next and move on to the next question, which resets the map as you can see here. So if we fast forward over to the final round, and we'll see that after question 10, the ready and next button will change to the results button, which will bring us, instead of to another question, to our final results page. The results page shows you as a player's score for each round, and then the entire lobby's scores ranked. So you can see here that Daniel has won by a considerable margin, which is something we found quite a lot during our testing. The option then is to go back home to obviously play another game, which I'm sure you'll all want to do. So I'll pass over to Aslina now, who's going to talk about the front-end systems.
Hello everyone, I'm now going to talk about the front-end technology we used in our web app. We as a team decided that the best way to reach anyone, anywhere and on any device is to code the game as a progressive web app, also known as PWA. A PWA is designed to be capable, reliable, and also installable, thus giving our user a native-like app feel to our game. This is even when our game is built using a single code base, in our case JavaScript. This suited our requirements and vision for our game perfectly. We chose React.js as a framework for building our game because its production build has all the tools necessary to generate a first-class progressive web app. Also, the Google Maps JavaScript API, which we used in our map, integrated seamlessly into React.js. As you can infer from the name of our game, Tap That Map, the Map API is the core component of our game. In order for our game to be aesthetically pleasing and also interactive at the same time, we required a robust but powerful Map API, which we found in Google Maps API. With Google Maps, we are able to not only add, remove, and edit markers but to animate them. With Google Maps, we can manipulate latitudes and longitudes of points on the map. This is crucial in order to calculate scores in the game and also create boundaries for each country on the map. Last but not least, Google Maps enables us to create customized map styles. This allows us to create a high contrast map style to cater for the visually impaired and also beautify the map according to our game theme. We used Material UI to create the user interface for our game. By using Material UI, we did not have to create custom components from scratch and could focus the bulk of our time on building our game engine and further it from a single player to a multiplayer game instead. The ability to provide a theme for our game with the use of Theme Provider is also a plus, as it helps us create visual consistency throughout the game. To sum it all, Materials UI gave our game a polished, responsive, and well-designed look. As with any other game, the use of sound and effects is integral to the building of a game. We used Howler.js as it is a simple and light API. This makes working with audio straightforward, and being only 7 kilobytes in size does not add bulk into our codebase. I will now pass the screen to Dan to talk about the choices we made in our back-end technology.
We went with Firebase as our back-end technology, as it is a real-time database which allows us to store and sync app data in milliseconds. Along with that, it was a new technology which was different to the relational Postgres database we had previously used. Firebase required a lot of work early on in order to get the basic understanding of reading and writing of databases and figuring out how to best format that data. We had a good understanding of Firebase and a functioning single-player game. We headed up to set up the multiplayer. Multiplayer required a host and client players. The host controls the game through making changes to the database, and the clients respond to those changes using listeners provided by Firebase. This allows us to sync up the rounds, thereby allowing players to play alongside one another in a more interactive game style. In the multiplayer, the marker and score data for individuals are sent to the database. Opponent players use that data to plot those markers and present those scores. This occurs in real time, so opponents' markers will pop up on the map as they are placed. We wanted players to upload image to be used as their markers. For this, we needed an easily accessible service in order to keep the game running smoothly. We went with Google Cloud Storage, as it is available from the Firebase account and allows clients to directly upload images to the cloud, and whenever that user starts a game, the correct images will be downloaded. We used Firebase Authentication, which made implementing login functionality simpler and gave us access to the user data across the app. And finally, we hosted the database on Firebase and used Git Actions to auto-deploy the app when the master branch on the GitHub repository was updated.
Hi everyone, here are some of the challenges we faced whilst building Tap That Map. Firstly, we knew we needed a really comprehensive set of data to enable us to generate questions, plot country centroids and their borders on the map. We found a list of GeoJSONs online that provided all the information we needed and were quick to implement this. However, when we began playing the game, we started to notice a few inaccuracies. We kept logs of these and were able to update the data where it was needed. But I think the best example that shows one of the problems we faced is this picture of France's centroid being plotted in Spain. It took us a while to figure out, but it's actually because it takes into account overseas territories. And obviously, France's central centroid is not quite in central France. One of the other challenges we faced is what I like to call customization frustration. Right at the start, we spiked out various map APIs to see which one would give us the best results for personalisation. Google Maps API was the one that fitted our needs best and would enable us to make the game the way we wanted it to look. When it came to plotting custom markers on the map, we were initially a little bit surprised by the size of them, but luckily an extra set of parameters meant that we could limit this and that users were still able to upload custom images. So if we'd had a bit more time and we'd been able to do things a little bit differently at the start, I think we'd have liked to do things that would have increased the playability of the game. This includes things like different kinds of questions, maybe country flags or landmarks, things like being able to choose a theme to view the game in different colours, and allowing the user just a little bit more personalisation. At the moment, they don't have an option to change their user image once it's been uploaded, but we think that would have been a nice touch. Lastly, we feel the multiplayer game can get a little bit clunky, especially when you're waiting for every player to be ready. We think it would have been nice to implement a force start button on this, just so that the host could have complete control of when the round starts. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been an absolute blast and we're really proud of Tap That Map.